Hi everybody, today we are going to be doing redecorating mango crates so they become maybe a multi-purpose shelf, a table, something like that. You know, you got mango crates lying around at your house, just use them. This is a DIY. Welcome back to Arty Angel. Okay, so I got gloves on. So we're gonna start by scraping this. Make sure your surface is completely protected from the from the shards of wood, and make sure you're wearing gloves because you don't want any splinters. So I'm gonna start scraping this and I'll be right back to you after I scrape this. Okay, so guys, I've tried my best and I've scraped So I scraped every single little shard off from this mango crate. It doesn't look any different, but it will look once we paint it. Let's get started. We're gonna start with primer. I'm using Camlin Fabrica. Okay, so we're gonna start painting. I'm gonna take this large brush here. We're only gonna do a thin coat. We're not gonna do it completely white. We'll decide later what color we want, but we'll just thin coat it like that. And if you get it on your gloves, that's okay because it's not our real hands. I wore gloves because this is acrylic primer, so this won't like easily come off your hands. You gotta be careful. So yeah, I'm just gonna paint this. Make sure you do the inside too. Here we're not gonna paint the inside, but you have to do it, and the bottom part don't do anything. Here it's like written, right? It's like written AKS. Nobody really cares if it's written because anyhow it's gonna get covered with paint or color. If you want, you can just leave it like that, or if you don't want bright colors, you can use like how people have these, wood polish. You can use that over this. Try to cover every single little section of the crate. Make sure you've got everything covered with primer because even if we're not painting it, it's good to have it primed. And I'll just continue the same to the other sides. I'm just painting this side right now. Make sure you don't touch your skin with the gloves because then you're gonna get it on your skin. Sorry, excuse me. Don't do a lot of paint on it, like not too much and not too less. We want it completely primed, but we don't want too much. If you just like it just primed, it's alright. You can just use it like this. But I would say whatever was written on this, it would be visible. And I'll just paint the other side. So I'm just gonna paint this other side. Your paintbrush will get dried, so a little water is okay. Just dip your brush in water. Oops. Dip your brush in water, but like not too much water because then the acrylic part will miss out. It will turn into watercolors. It won't be such a bright or like it won't be such a bright base coat or like a good base coat. Dripping. I don't think you can see it, but there was like nails there. I painted on that, it was dripping. And make sure you check my channel every Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Maybe I might not post on every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I will post it every week. So look out for videos. And make sure you hit the notification bell and hit the subscribe button and like my video so I can give you more videos. Just paint it nicely. You don't want any spots where there's no paint at all. Paint this sides here, and I'll meet you on the other side. Here we are on the other side. I'm just taking some more paint. Little paint is better than no paint, because once you apply the primer on here, it won't be like all splintery, because the paint will act like a glue. It will stick all the splinters or wood shards, and you won't get hurt by them, because trust me, you will be terrified with what way is used here to take splinters out. We have to use a needle just to take a small splinter off. So you don't want a splinter on your finger or leg. Leg is the most dangerous part because you can't bear it so much. Just try to cover as much as you can. Meet you on the other side. Now we're gonna do the inside. Like I said, we have to do the inside, not the back part here. Not doing the back part, but we're doing inside. You know what you can do? You can just do like this instead of painting it like an actual painting. Just take a little paint at a time. That one little dip of paint should be enough. If you feel like that's a little less, you can go back in, use more paint. I'm not telling you to do the exact same as mine. Do the exact same thing as I said. You can use a little bit of your thoughts and creativity. Here I have a few shards. If you miss some out, when you sanded it, you can just pull them out. That should be easy. Once this side is done, now I'm gonna turn it over. Turning it over is actually much easier to do it, because if you just like, you're here and you paint it like that, it won't be easy, right? Just paint it. You don't need to be in a hurry to like finish it, but if you are in a hurry that you have to give this to somebody, it's a gift, still you can take your time, but you have to like start in the day or in the morning, and you'll be finished by like afternoon. It takes like 1 to 1.5 hours just to do this. I mean, right now I just painted this in like, just for the video I'm painting this super fast, because I don't want you guys waiting, because if I paint it like a slow poke, I'll be like, you will be waiting, and I don't want you guys to wait. Oh, look at that. Just clean that out. See, when you have a protected surface, you can just clean it out on there. So I'm just gonna flip it over to this side. Now, paint it. It moves when you paint it roughly sometimes, so you gotta hold it in place. Oops. You know, many of them are broken sometimes. That's okay. Like, you can ask an adult, you can ask for adult supervision to take it out or take it off, take that broken piece. And you can also ask them to like hammer down these, little nails that are sticking out here. Oh, my camera's up. Yeah, these little needles here, they might poke you when you're painting, so yeah. Now we're gonna do this side. If this is already looking good, but it's up to you. But like, it's your choice. You want it to look colorful, you want your little shelf unit or table or whatever you're gonna use this as to look colorful, or just white. Now I would suggest colorful because then it brings a really huge smile on yourself. When you're done with it, you feel so happy, you are joyed that you made this. You'll have the best feeling in life. So now we're gonna do this section here. I'm standing now. This portion will take a little bit longer, so I'm just gonna meet you guys in a bit. Okay, so guys, I painted it. I took my gloves off. We have to wait for this to dry. Till then, I'll think what to paint it with. Okay, so guys, it has nearly dried up. So I decided I'll just do it plain white. Like, I won't leave it like this, but I'll paint it white completely. Yeah, it's dry. Not so much inside, but it's dry, so I'm gonna start. I mean, if you want, you can just immediately start, but you don't want to mix up the colors if you're using different colors. So I'm just gonna start with this side. I'm using a thinner brush this time to get into every single little edge that I missed in the big brush. This is bigger than our regular painting brush, but it's still smaller in the big brushes. So I'm just gonna paint this, and this time I want it to cover it completely. Shouldn't be like too less. I mean, you can do it in a way that will still cover everything but will be less paint, but that's up to you. I'm just painting it with the primer only because you can use the primer. The primer is white, so you can just use that, or if you have colors, I would suggest to use chalk paint. Yeah, you get chalk paint. Like, you get it in different colors. You can get it in blue, pink, red, yellow. The red might come to be dark, but there's pastel blue, there's pastel pink, there's pastel yellow, green. Yeah, I had painted with it before. It's very nice, but I ran out of them, so I'm just using white. This red won't be enough for the whole thing, so it's okay. Sometimes you don't have enough of everything. You gotta work with what you have. Now, if you don't have a huge jar of, white like I do, primer, and you only have a little bit, use it wisely. Or you can just keep it like that, but I would suggest, you get varnish. You apply that so that it acts like a glue to at least stick the shards in place, so they won't, give you splinters, because we can't risk that. See how I'm leaving just a little bit of the portion to be white, but I'm still covering everything. From far away, nobody can notice that you haven't painted it correctly, because it's paint, and this time we don't have to do any small mini details like we do in our paintings, so you can just do it the way you like. Now I am not going to paint the inside completely white, because we can put things in it or it will be covered, you can't see it, so that's why I'm just painting it. Once you're done, you don't really have to glue different crates together to make one large shelving unit or something or a bookcase or a table. You don't have to glue them together, you can just stack them. I'm gonna go from above. To cover some mini details. I'm gonna paint here. You don't really have to get it so detailed, but it's better. Oops. Little strings. Now if you want, you can take a huge amount of paint on your brush at once, and you can spread it so that you won't have to take as many as dips into the paint jar, because sometimes you feel annoyed because you have to take dips in the paint jar and you don't feel likely to actually do it. Just painting these edges here because I want to. If you don't want to, it's okay. It's your option. It's optional, of course. I'm gonna do the other side. I'll talk to you when I go there. So I'm just starting to paint this section. Many times the primer that you applied, if you have applied a lot at one section, you don't really even have to paint on that. You can only use one crate also if you like. You don't have to paint all crates in just one day because it will take a while. You can do 2 in one day, but you'll get tired. You won't feel like doing anything else in the day. because it's my experience. I did 2 in one day. So tired because I was just sitting there painting the crates. This is fun activity during quarantine or during lockdown instead of quarantine. Just dabbing it on like that, so the leftover paint will also like get on there. Now where it has been written, make sure you cover it very nicely, because then it will be visible. It won't be looking so good, but even though this is the sides, you gotta do it nicely. I'm taking a lot at a time and painting. I'm just taking it out of the jar. Get that. All the almost to be dried paint. Make sure you paint that well. There you go. I'm just taking the brush and doing that like a dab. Wow, it's a lot of paint. Just spreading it. Oops. Try not to paint your floor, because then you'll have a hard time cleaning it. Because of course this is acrylic primer. Here you guys must be wondering why I'm saying try to millions of times. That's because I'm not forcing you guys to do the same way as I am. I'm just telling you to try to if you can. Because I don't want to force anybody. That doesn't seem nice for me. I'm a nice person, so I'll be nice. Now I'm gonna snap it. Hold on, this hand. See, oh wow, that didn't work so well. I tried to snap you guys here. Look at my hand, it's kind of so messy. Messy is nice. I actually took out my gloves because this may sound funny, but my fingers couldn't breathe. Like I was feeling burned. It was so hot for my fingers. So I just took them off. It's okay if you get messy. I mean, it will come off. Now if you're trying to get like paint or any such thing, like paint or watercolors. I mean, watercolors doesn't really stick to your skin that much, but it can sometimes. I use toothpaste with my hand soap. That way, because you know, when you eat food coloring, you brush your teeth, it comes off, right? So you should do the same with your hands. I mean, it's not food coloring, but it should work because I tried that. Toothpaste even works for like when you got marker on your hands or sketch pens. Trying not to touch the wet paint, but let me just move it there. Try to get into corners. Wow, my paint is almost finished. That's okay, you can just use if the paint finishes anyhow, there's still some left in the jar, like stuck to the jar, you can just add a little bit of water, just a little bit, to make the quantity more. It should work. Why am I even using so much there? Silly me. There, I'm gonna. Oh wait, this side is still left. I'm gonna do very bottom of paint brushes. We use as paint brushes as a wand. Seriously, what was I thinking? I'll just finish this up. Okay, now we can do it. 3, 2. Yeah. Now there's barely any paint left, but I'm sure it should do for at least this one band of wood. I guess you call it a band, or no, whatever you like. There's a lot of paint dropped on the floor. You can actually try to use that. Not exactly on the floor, but on the cardboard that I'm using as my protected surface. Protecting surface, see? A mat. You can actually use cardboard as protected surface best, because if you use paper and if you drop water on it, it'll get like all soggy like tissue paper and will like tear apart. Cardboard is like made of many layers of like thick paper, so it should not break. Let's find some paint. Okay, I'm almost out of paint. That's okay, right? Should be perfectly fine. See, it's covered now. I'm gonna have to think of a way to get this portion painted completely. This is the last part we're supposed to paint. I'm trying to cover the letters first with the name of whosoever. I actually don't know from where we got this, because my mom got these. I mean, you can like buy mango crates if you like ask somebody that you have mango crates, because many people buy, to this day they still buy mangoes in crates. Here now we just have cardboard boxes, but there still are mango crates. Just painting here, I'm almost done. We're almost done. Once we are done with this, it will look so fabulous. Like gorgeous, literally. Okay, now the last little section there, I'm trying to get as much as paint as I can out of the container. Just trying to finish it, trying to cover it. If not, I'm just, pouring a bit of water and then mix it up. You should have like paint instantly. See? All the leftover paint that's stuck to the container actually like gets mixed with the water and it makes like a sort of watercolor effect, but it still works. It's paint. You can add water time to time, but this much should do. Like you can use other paintbrush, how you just leave your paintbrush in water and it's like soaking wet. It drops water a bit, so you can use that. And there, we are done. I'm just gonna clean up and I'm gonna show you the outcomes. This is how it turned out. I mean, you must be like, how do we use them now? I'll just tell you. See, this is what I had made before. I stacked all them up. You can stack those like that, straight up, and they turn into a storage. This is not my art stuff, but you can store board games, toys, books if you want, and much more. Bye guys. Hope you enjoyed this video.